Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And let's just get right into this review. So this episode picks up where the last one left off, where Natalie ended up putting together a little bonfire for all the girls to get together and have a good time with each other. But that's not exactly what ended up happening, because Rolly starts asking the new girls who they think should go home, because Natalie already made it clear that when they go to the next city, somebody's not going with them. So the new girls start saying who they think should go home, and Dolly says that she feels like PrettyP should go home because Emma is prettier than her. And the reason why she said that is because a lot of the people that was there were saying that Emma should go home because she's boring. Now look, I don't really think that Emma is as boring as people are trying to make her out to be. However, I feel like the only reason why people keep coming for Emma about her being boring is because she came at Scotty when she first got on the show about Scotty not being fun. So now people are hyper focused on everything that Emma is doing and not doing. She bit herself in the foot when she did that to Scotty, because now people are basically saying the same thing to her. I feel like if she wouldn't have said that, then I feel like the other girls would have embraced Emma a lot more, and I think she would have ended up getting a Baddies chain, not because she's the most hype person there or because she's the best fighter there, but because they think she's pretty and they like her in that sense. But because she came for Scotty, that's the only reason why everybody is kind of making it seem like she's more boring than what she is. But yeah, originally PrettyP was having a back and forth with Summer because they were saying that each other should go home, and then obviously Dolly ended up getting involved, and that's when she said that, you know, PrettyP should go home because Emma is prettier than her, and that's when the two of them started having a very heated back and forth, and Dolly let PrettyP know that if she gets to stay in the house, she's definitely fighting her. So PrettyP ended up taking her jacket off and saying that if anybody wanted to fight her, they need to line it up, and so she was ready to fight. So Dolly runs over there and the two of them run at each other. Now this fight was extremely quick. They were swinging quick and the fight was just quick. They run at each other, they start swinging at each other at full speed, and then all of a sudden the fight gets broken up. Now honestly, to me, they were keeping up with each other. Granted, it wasn't the best angle, but to me they were both swinging at the same speed. But PrettyP definitely had her eyes closed when she was fighting Dolly. But to me, neither one of them lost that first round, because to me neither one of them really did any damage. They were just swinging on each other, to be honest with you. But after the fight gets broken up, Dolly wants to fight PrettyP again, so they run at each other and they start fighting again. And look, they both got a couple of hits in on each other, but I will say that because Dolly stumbled during the fight, it gave PrettyP an advantage and she was actually able to take over that fight. So I will give the second round to PrettyP, because to me it looked like she won, and I watched it a couple of times just to make sure, and to me she definitely won that fight. Now some people might disagree with me because they like Dolly. However, I try not to give biased opinions when I watch these shows, because I don't know any of these girls personally, so I don't have a favorite and I don't have any issues with any of these girls. So I just say what I see when I watch the episode, and to me it looked like PrettyP won the second round. And some of the girls were definitely saying that Dolly lost, and they were the ones that was physically there to see the fight, so we probably don't get to see everything because it's heavily edited. So if Tinkerbella and Tasiki and some of the other girls are saying that Dolly lost that fight, then I'm gonna take their word for it, to be honest. Now, I would like to see Dolly get into a fight with her hand not injured, because so far her hand has been injured and then she had alcohol thrown in her eyes, so we haven't really been able to see her fight at full capacity. But that's why she shouldn't have been fighting Summer's battles in the first place, because she messed up her hand even more than it was after the audition. Now, Ivori seems to really like PrettyP, because they start talking after PrettyP's fight with Dolly, and she starts telling PrettyP that she did a good job and that she won the fight. And she said that the reason why she likes PrettyP is because PrettyP will fight anybody, even if there's a bunch of people against her that want to fight. And look, the first couple of episodes, I was not really feeling PrettyP. I really was not feeling her because of what she did on the bus the very first episode. However, after watching the last few episodes, I kind of like PrettyP a little bit, because she stands on business. Whether she wins or loses a fight, she's willing to fight anyway, especially when there's a bunch of different girls that are against her, and she stands on her own. So to me, that makes her a baddie, and I think that she earned her Baddies chain, to be honest. But then Dolly's in the corner and she's shaking, saying that her hand and her fingers are really hurting her. So they have people over there working on her hand, trying to get her hand wrapped up and everything. And Summer's over there talking to her, trying to calm her down and basically give her a little bit of support. But Dolly is giving Summer an attitude. She basically tells her to get out of her face and be quiet and all that. And I'm just like, why is she speaking to her so-called friend like that? Like, I understand that when people are in pain and they're mad, they talk to people crazy. But I just feel like if that's your friend, you shouldn't be talking to her like that. They don't even know each other enough to even be able to talk to each other in that type of way. So to me, if I was Summer, I would not be able to be really cool with Dolly. I'm not saying I would have a falling out with her over that, but I would have had to check her, like, don't talk to me like that, because it's just like, even if you're in pain and stuff, you shouldn't be talking to the girl like that, because it's nobody's fault that her hand is messed up but her own. Because first of all, Summer told her a few episodes ago to stop fighting her battles for her, because whether she wins or loses, she'll fight anyway. But because Dolly knew that she was fading into the background, she decided to fight Emma for Summer, and now she's been fighting PrettyP for Summer, and now her hand is more messed up than it was before. So now she's really gonna fall into the background, because she can't do anything with her hand all wrapped up the way that it is. Literally almost all of her fingers on both hands are wrapped up because she hurt her hand that bad. But even though her hand is messed up, she's saying that she wants to go over there and fight PrettyP again, which is crazy, because it's like, she's not going to be able to fight anybody with her hands wrapped up the way that it was. Like, it's crazy. Now, Natalie starts telling the new girls that they need to step it up, and anybody who's not really showing their personality is going to have to show it soon, because if they don't, they're going to end up getting sent home. And so Scotty and Emma start doing splits to basically show that one is not better than the other. And look, I honestly truly do feel like Scotty and Emma would have been cool with each other had Emma not come for Scotty the way that she did. And I'm surprised that it was Scotty who she actually came for, because Scotty's the nice one out of the OGs, and then she just comes for her instead of any of the other girls. That was weird to me, and that's the reason why Emma is in the position she's in now, where people are saying she's boring and they want her to go home, because of what she said to Scotty at the beginning of this season. She probably shouldn't have done that, because maybe people wouldn't be coming for her the way that they are if she hadn't. Now, later that night, when they end up getting back to the house, Dolly starts going off on Lex, saying that she was supposed to get involved in the fight between her and PrettyP because she knew that her hand was messed up. And Lex was saying that the reason why she didn't get involved with it is because PrettyP originally wanted to fight Summer, but Dolly ended up getting involved, and that's why the two of them ended up fighting. And so she didn't feel the need to get involved. She also said that, you know, she already fought PrettyP and won the fight, so there's no reason for her to continue beefing with the girl. And I completely agree with what Lex is saying. I'm sorry. I think that Dolly was being completely irrational. Like, it's nobody else's job to get involved and jump in a fight that you're having with somebody else because you decided that you wanted some camera time and attention, and you decided to manufacture a beef with somebody, because PrettyP was originally beefing with Summer. Dolly just got involved with it because she wanted to get some shine off of Summer, so she decided to get involved in all of Summer's beefs, and that's the reason why she's beefing with PrettyP now. Nobody told her to do that. She did that herself. So why should Lex have to get involved? And then I feel like Dolly kind of bit herself in the foot in her confessional, because she was saying that before they got to the bonfire, she had talked to Lex and told her that when she fights PrettyP, that she needs to be the one to get involved and fight PrettyP instead, because her hand was messed up. So it makes it seem like Dolly is still manufacturing fights, because why were you already knowing that you were going to get into it with PrettyP before you guys ended up getting to the bonfire? That was weird to me. So then Dolly starts telling Lex that she has to get her stuff out of the room and that she's not sleeping in the room that they share together. And I'm glad that Lex stood her ground and told Dolly that she's staying in the room and that she's not kicking her out of there, because that's her room too. And then she told security to make sure that Dolly does not touch her things, because they had to leave to go to the club, and because Dolly's hand was messed up, she was going to be staying at the house. So obviously Lex was worried about her things being messed up, because Dolly was saying that she needed to get out of the room. And I'm sorry, Dolly is giving mean girl. Like, she's really pretty to me, and I was hoping that she would be different this season, because I think that she would have been well liked. However, she's not being very likable these last few episodes, so I don't really know how I feel about Dolly at this point, because she's yelling at the girls who are supposed to be her friends on the show. She already talked to Summer some kind of way in this episode, and then she started going at Lex. It's like, I don't understand why she's doing that. So when they end up getting on the Baddies bus to go to the club booking, that's when Ivori started asking Lex what was going on between her and Dolly in the house, and Lex explained to her what happened and how she doesn't feel the need to fight Pretty P again because she already fought her and won. And I agree with that. We don't need to see another situation when it comes to, Summer and Jasmine where they keep fighting each other for no reason. Like, we don't want to keep seeing them fight. So I'm glad that Lex decided that she wasn't going to keep fighting Pretty P after they fought the first time. But there was a little bit of tension between Ivori and Lex at the club because they were in Ohio, okay? And Lex is from Ohio. So she gets on the microphone and she starts screaming about how that's her city and how she loves Ohio. And then Ivori ends up getting on the microphone later that night and she starts saying that Cleveland was her city. And obviously, because Ivori and Lex have a history of beefing with each other so far, she felt like the reason why Ivori said that on the microphone is to come for her because she's the one that's actually from Ohio. So I like Lex, but I definitely feel like she was reaching in that situation. I don't feel like Ivori was being petty towards her. And even if she was, I don't think it was a big enough deal for the two of them to keep talking about it in this episode because I just felt like it was petty. It was no reason for them to bicker about that situation at all. I think that Lex was overthinking things and I just feel like she was doing too much in that situation. I'm sorry. I do like her, but she was doing too much in that situation with Ivori. So the next day, they're all packing their belongings because they're supposed to be getting on the Baddies bus and heading to Chicago. But Natalie made it very clear that somebody was going to be going home and wasn't going to be going to Chicago. So all the new girls were talking about it, trying to figure out who was going to end up going home. Now, Natalie actually has all the girls lined up outside in front of the Baddies bus, and she makes the girls who are staying in the house with the newbies say who they think should go home. And that's Tinkerbella, Diamond the Body, Rolly, and Biggie. So basically, Tinkerbella says that she feels like Emma should go home. Diamond the Body said that she feels like Akbar should go home, which I honestly actually agree with Diamond the Body. I feel like Akbar and Jaden aren't really bringing anything to this season. I honestly feel like none of the new girls should go home, okay? Because Biggie started saying that she felt like, Jasmine should go home because she's boring. And then, one of the other girls said that they felt like Emma should go home. And I truly do not agree with any of them. I don't think any of the new girls should go home. I truly don't think so. I think that they should have a chance to be on the show the full season because then we'll just have a season full of OGs and maybe like 2 new girls, and I really don't like the idea of that. So I really don't think any of the new girls should go home. Even if they are kind of boring, I don't think that they should have to go. But Natalie tells them that because Emma and Jasmine got the most votes, that they'll figure out which one of them is going to end up going home. But once they get on the bus and the private jet, because Natalie takes some of the OGs with her on a private jet, she starts asking them who they think should go home. And I think that it was good that Rolly and Anna and some of the other girls were saying that they don't think either Emma or Jasmine should go home. And Rolly definitely said that she feels like all the new girls should get a chance to prove themselves on the show without being scared that they had to get sent home. So because Emma is going through a lot because her father was sick, some of the girls were saying that she should not have to leave because she probably needs to be around people so that she can get some joy in life, because obviously if you have a parent that's really sick, you're worried half the time. So if you're around people and you're having a good time, it kind of takes your mind off of that a little bit. So I hope that Natalie doesn't end up sending any of the new girls home. I just don't think they should be. Honestly, I think it's too soon. But because Lex ended up addressing Ivori before they got on the bus about her making the comment that Cleveland was her city when they were at the club the previous night, Ivori gets on the bus and she starts going off saying that if people have a problem with her, they need to just address it with her and that she'll fight whoever. And if somebody wants to fight her, they need to just ask her so they can get it over with. And basically she was directing this towards Lex, and Lex knew this because she just addressed Ivori before they got on the bus. So she knew that it was being directed towards her. So you know that the drama between Ivori and Lex is going to continue on this season because there's just too much tension between the two of them, and I honestly don't know why. Based on the conversation on the bus too, I think that the drama between Diamond the Body and Akbar is going to continue at some point, because when Lex asked Diamond where she stood with, Akbar, she called her a llama because she spit at her and basically said that she thinks that she should go home. And so I'm feeling like they're going to end up getting into it again at some point. If it's not during the season, it'll probably be at the reunion. But Natalie and the OGs end up arriving to the new girls' house in Chicago first before the new girls even arrive. And Natalie starts being messy, okay? And she starts saying, hey, let's change some of the names on the bedroom doors so that we can put people together who don't like each other. So Natalie ends up putting Lex's name with Ivori's for one of the rooms that have one bed in it. Natalie is the one that did this, okay? Natalie did this by herself. Anna and Biggie and Tasiki were over there when Natalie did it, but they were not the ones that physically took the name tag and put it on the door. That was Natalie who did that by herself. However, Biggie and Anna were co-signing what Natalie did. Jayla and Tasiki were there, but they didn't really say anything, and they weren't really actually a part of it. Now, this was giving Bad Girls Club vibes because on the Bad Girls Club, you know that people were moving people's luggages out of rooms to stir up some drama. And I didn't think that it had to turn physical between Ivori and Lex over this name change thing. I just think that it was just stupid for them to fight over something dumb like that. I feel like they should have directed their anger at the girls who actually were trying to be messy and not each other. But unfortunately, that did not end up happening because Ivori ends up going to the room and she takes Lex's name off the door and she starts asking Jayla why people are being messy and why they would put her in a room with Lex knowing that they have beef with each other. And Jayla was trying to make excuses saying that some of the girls were just trying to be funny and switching up the names and that they didn't mean any harm by it. And she basically threw Anna under the bus by saying that Anna was the one that did it. Now, Anna basically threw herself under the bus though, because when Ivori came to the balcony of the hallway and she started asking who put Lex's name on the bedroom door to share a room with her, Anna took all the blame and said that it was her that did it, even though it was Natalie. So Ivori is visibly upset about this, but Lex seems completely unbothered and she goes into the room and she lays on the bed. And Ivori starts telling her that she's not sharing a room, but Lex said that she was completely fine with sharing a room with Ivori, although I don't know why she would be because they have beef with each other. I honestly do feel like though, if they were not beefing with each other, they would actually be cool. And I wish they were cool with each other instead of beefing because honestly, I like both of them this season. But Lex ends up telling Ivori that she's not leaving the room, that she's staying. So Ivori basically tells her that if you're not going to leave this room, then let's fight about it. So they start fighting with each other, okay? And some people were in the comment section saying that Lex got beat up by Ivori and other people were saying that Ivori got beat up by Lex, but we barely even got to see the fight. We only got to see a few seconds of the fight. And in my opinion, they were both keeping up with each other. It looked like a tie from what I seen from this little clip of the fight that we got to see because both Ivori and Lex were getting hits in on each other. I know that Ivori was swinging on Lex and was connecting, and then Lex ended up getting Ivori in a headlock and she was hitting her and they were both hitting each other. Like while Lex had Ivori in the headlock, hitting Ivori in the face, Ivori was also swinging and hitting Lex in the face. So to me, it was a tie. I don't think you can say who won the fight off that tiny clip that we saw, but they definitely do fight again in next week's episode. And Lex also ends up addressing Anna because I forgot to mention that when Lex ended up questioning Ivori about what she did on the microphone in Cleveland, Anna for some reason decided to get involved and she was kind of coming at Lex a little bit. And I honestly felt like it was no reason for her to do that. She should have minded her business. The beef between Lex and Ivori has nothing to do with any other girl on the show. And it's making me think that they want to be on Ivori's good side because they don't want to have to fight her. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Baddies Midwest. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.